Well, for the final time in 2019, welcome to the BackMarkers F1 Power Rankings. And this is a rankings that will be ranking the drivers throughout the entire 21 race calendar year in 2019. So this is not race specific, taking into account all 21 races. And we're excited to see what you guys think of the list that we presented to you below. So
make sure you give us your own list, because I know there will be disagreements about our list, but that's the whole point of these power rankings, is to cause for a debate and always some good banter down in the comment section below.
It's what we like to see.
It is.
So, starting at number 10.
Can I introduce this? Can I introduce this person?
Go right ahead.
Blue flag, blue flag, blue flag, blue flag. It's Sebastian Vettel, our mascot.
That could have been a lot of drivers, actually.
It could, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
There was a song made about him, though.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, though, yeah.
But Sebastian Vettel just cracks our top 10, which is...
We should have had like a number 3 flag and a number 1 flag, and then replace the number
2 and 1.
Number 2 and 1, just put it over there for Canada.
That'd be a good idea.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Just pretend.
We'll pretend there's a number 10, I guess, beside Vettel.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't have him inside their top 10. We specifically do, because he did have a decent amount of high points in 2019. Obviously, his fair share amount of lows, and that's why he's not near the top of the leaderboard, which I think everyone can agree on. It wasn't Sebastian Vettel's season. But still a fantastic driver, a 4-time world champion, and someone you have to respect as one of the best drivers on the grid. And I think he proved that at times this season on why he is a world-class driver.
Great.
For sure.
Good.
Okay.
Consensus on that one.
Nice. Nailed it.
All right, moving right along then. In number 9, we have the Mexican Sergio Perez. And I think that Sergio was the lone bright spot for Racing Point. We talked in our season review about the disappointment of Lance Stroll. And Sergio really put the team on his back and carried him. And I think that really his summer break or post-summer break performances were the most impressive. A string of P7 finishes and scoring a good handful of points for Racing Point. So, yeah, I think that Sergio Perez was just, he's been so consistent the last couple of years. So, definitely deserves a spot in our top 10 for the whole year.
Yeah, I think as one of the more underrated drivers as well in the grid. If he was in a faster car, what damage could he do at the top?
Right.
First year in a little bit without him getting a podium.
I was just about to say that too.
Yeah, 3-4 years since
he got a podium last year.
Yeah, I know, but he's had one the last 3 or 4 years.
Oh yeah, last 3 or 4 years, I think. Yeah.
So tough for Racing Point, but as you mentioned, real bright spot was Checo.
Yeah, for sure.
And at number 8, probably our favorite Australian in the entire world, Mr. Daniel Ricciardo.
I mean, he didn't have a great start of the season, but I think through the midway point, I think just around Germany, he kind of started to step it up a little bit. I know throughout the first half of the season, we said we were expecting more for Daniel Ricciardo. It's yet to come. Mm-hmm. It's coming. And then, towards the end of the season, he really stepped up, showed that, there's a reason he had that Red Bull seat last year and why he, is being paid so much to be on Renault as well. That's because he's a great driver. He shows up when he needs to, and I think it was just working out the kinks between joining a brand new team after leaving Red Bull as well. That puts him at number 8.
Mm-hmm. So then the driver at number 7, I think a personal favorite as you guys. And Shaker, what did you call him in our season review?
The Meme Lord.
That's right. It's kind of the nickname we've coined for him this year.
I think a lot of people online have him as that. If you don't know who we're talking about, it's Milkman, Lando Norris, the Milkman. Fantastic rookie season. Was, I guess, collectively our rookie of the year. Alex Albon was up there too, but anyways, he got the rookie of the year. The Rookie of the Year vote, and won the Rookie of the Year vote with the fans as well on F1's site. And a really impressive rookie season as well. We mentioned in our season review that he started off a little slow just to get comfortable in F1, but really, made his presence known that he's going to be a racer for the future. And it's really exciting to see how much potential Lando has, and seeing from what he did this season, just thinking what he can do in seasons to come.
For sure.
Yep, absolutely.
Nailed it.
We're quick today, that's for sure. So at number 5, or sorry, actually number 6, I can't count. It's been a long year, folks.
It has been.
Coming in at number 6, then a driver that we were actually debating in our season review about being Rookie of the Year.
So I was trying to segue.
I see what you did there.
Segue.
I caught it. And that's Alex Albon. And obviously, Alex had a very eventful year, starting in Toro Rosso, getting promoted to Red Bull, almost having his chance at a first F1 podium. But I think that overall, Alex Albon had a really impressive rookie year. Despite all the crashes, even when you look at those, I think that the bounce back from those crashes was really impressive, being able to put on a good qualifying performance. And even when he went to Red Bull, obviously Max still outpaced him, but he was within...
Not by much.
Yeah,
No.
exactly. Not by much. He was still within range of Max. So that's good news for Red Bull heading into 2020. And, kind of on the outside of it at the beginning of the year, Alex kind of looked like, a very nice kid. You're thinking, is he going to be able to get his elbows out? And he was. And I think that he handled the pressure well. And I'm very looking forward to what he can do next year. He's got a good head on his shoulders.
Yeah, Lewis Hamilton felt those elbows.
I think it was Alex that felt
Yeah,
those
the other way
elbows.
around.
That's true, actually.
I think he felt that straight right down the middle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Muhammad Ali style.
But yeah, no, I totally agree. He had a great season. I think he's the disappointment he's going to have himself is the fact that all of his other Red Bull teammates got a podium this year.
I know. Yeah.
But I think that's just more of a personal thing in the end that he's going to hold on to that, and I think that's going to make him a better driver coming into 2020.
Yeah.
So
I would agree.
All right, entering into our top 5 for the last time in 2019, and starting off our top 5 is
Charles Leclerc had the most podiums of this year. You could definitely argue he could be a little bit higher, but with how the other drivers performed for the rest of the year, I think this puts him in a good spot to be at number 5. Most podiums, outshined his teammate Sebastian Vettel a little bit this year. Had one of the best onboard victories.
Yeah.
Next to Pierre Gasly, I would say, for this year. But yeah, no, getting a win in Italy after however many years as a Ferrari team, I think he's going to be holding on to that win for the rest of the season. I think he could have gotten almost 2 more podiums, 2 more first place finishes this year. So
Yeah. 100%. Podiums meant polls.
Polls.
Yes.
Polls.
I knew what you meant.
Yes.
Don't worry.
My bad.
So everyone doesn't start killing us in the comments.
they're
section.
backspacing their
I know.
comments
Damn
right now.
Yeah, they remembered. No, his qualifying was unbelievable this year. I mean, the way he could hook that car up on the track just needs to touch up on his mistakes that he made this season. Made a few real costly errors in terms of, I guess, a couple ones that calling himself stupid and I'm stupid, poor guy. But everyone enjoys Charles Leclerc. Great talent for the future, and I think that this year he got his feet wet with Ferrari, and next year will be a fantastic season for him to have that confidence and that being a little more comfortable with the race team in general.
Yeah. Well, I think my favorite one was when his car was a little bit on fire. He's like, I know it looks bad, but it's fine.
I know. that was a great quote. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he's not short of confidence, that's for sure.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, one of the surprises of the year for sure. I mean, who would have thought he'd have the most pole positions and, overall outperformed his 4-time world championship teammate. So, very, very good season for Leclerc.
A couple factors had to play with that as well, with Sebastian Vettel not having a Sebastian Vettel season.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that doesn't take away anything from Charles, that's for sure.
And like you said in our season review, it's going to be the fight between Max and Charles Leclerc is something we're going to be seeing for a long time. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that rivalry, starts to go because they've had some really good on-track races this year between Charles Leclerc and Max.
So then in number 4, we put Valtteri Bottas and Bottas 2.0 in 2019. He came out and said that he's going to need to be Valtteri 2.77 in 2020 if he wants to win the world title. But, regardless, you could see Valtteri's season both, and I know that the F1 and the fans kind of ranked him a little bit lower than we did, but I think you got to put some respect on Valtteri's name here, and he had a really good season.
He did have a very good season. A lot gets hindered because he's in Lewis Hamilton's shadow.
For sure.
But if you look at the results-wise, again, another solid season for Valtteri Bottas. Can prove that he's fantastic in qualifying. Very good in races as well. I think one of the best defenders on the grid in terms of defending your position. Just needs to really work on his overtakes.
Probably the best teammate you could have.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, the best teammate you could have. Yeah, that's definitely true. And a lot of respect has to go to Valtteri Bottas because he doesn't have maybe the greatest reputation being behind Lewis Hamilton, in his shadow, but again, one of the best racers in the world
For sure.
right now.
And I think he's one of those drivers that knows his talent and he knows he can compete with Lewis Hamilton. So, there was a few onboard interactions we had with, James of this year that we all remember, but that he knew he could,
Valtteri, Valtteri, it's James. James, it's Valtteri.
Well done.
But yeah, so like he knew he knows what he can do, and I think he was, he thought he was going to get those races and totally be disappointed at the end. So
Speaking of that, I'd like to have him have a little more fight back next year.
For sure,
in
I
terms
agree.
of not going towards team orders.
well, I mean, if you think about it, with Charles Leclerc stepping up, and
Yeah.
with Ferrari being his first year there, this is Valtteri's third year at Mercedes, so he has
got to step up and stand his ground and not just be Lewis Hamilton's second fiddle.
For sure, because I've said it since I started watching F1 that he is one of those drivers that is always overlooked because he's
Yep.
always going to remain in Lewis Hamilton's shadow.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm always, like I said, huge fan of Valtteri. So I really hope to see a lot more from him next
Yeah,
year.
I
Like you
agree.
guys said,
Yep. So that's Valtteri in fourth. All right, moving on into the podium places. So who will grab the last three positions for 2019?
Oh, I can tell you what it's going to be.
some science.
It's going to be a smooth operator. Smooth operation.
Do you know what that was, Tyler? Smooth.
Oh, smooth.
Go squeeze.
The meme lord 2.0, I guess.
What was
0.2.
the other one? I'm moving up and down.
That,
Like a
that was
was
Lando,
Lando.
though.
That was Lando. That was Lando.
No, his was, did I send it?
Oh,
Oh.
I send it. If you don't know who we're talking about, it's obviously Carlos Sainz. What a season for Carlos Sainz. I mean, really put him in the spotlight as, okay, this guy he means business.
I think the best decision he made was,
100%.
leaving Renault, not going back to Red Bull and taking that Red Bull seat back and choosing to go with
McLaren.
McLaren at the end of the day. Because, wow, did they
Yeah.
have a great season.
Easily is the surprise of the year, I think. And someone that I'm really excited to see again what he does in 2020. And expectations are now going to be a little higher for Sainz, obviously, because of this season, what we saw out of him. But so much potential to see this guy be fantastic down the line.
Yeah.
And if McLaren keep improving, and Sainz keeps improving, I mean, watch out. That could be a combination. This could be one of those things where you see this combination with Lando, Sainz, and McLaren for a long time. It's just as a staple. I think they're really having a great team atmosphere in there. And
For sure. And then with Mercedes coming in 2021 for McLaren, I think it's going to be an even bigger year for both those guys when that comes around, because we all know that they're great drivers,
Yeah.
and just see them in a better car. I actually have a bet with one of my friends. He thinks that Carlos Sainz, even if he is put into a better car, will never be known as a good driver. So
oh
yeah, so
no,
yeah, so
No.
it's it's a personal.
You don't need those
thing.
kind of
you've
people. in your
already
life.
won. You've already won that bet. He's number 3 in our
Yeah.
power rankings.
Yeah, that's all you need. He's
So
already a good
yeah,
driver.
so I think I'm winning right now.
Yeah, 100%.
I agree with everything that you said, and his emergence as a team leader this year
For
has,
sure.
has been
Yeah.
very good, and the teammate dynamic is very good with him and Lando. So that, like I said, he stepped into Fernando Alonso's shoes very well, and I think that he's going to be a more effective leader than Fernando was.
Yep.
He's got less politics on
true.
his side, I think.
Yeah.
All
Should
right,
we do it?
Yeah, I think this is the
This is-
trickiest part for us now. I mean,
This isn't a decision on, like, we all disagree on this decision. Everyone has their certain points on this decision. So
There's
Yeah.
a reason we're doing it this way.
yeah,
yeah, so we typically can decide on a number one, and some of the times even when we disagree, we'll just kind of come to a consensus.
yeah.
But this one we kind of had some real trouble with, because it's a decision of voting with your head or your heart,
Yeah.
and so let's debate the number one
Or
position.
say,
then.
is it a
It's
one?
a numbers game compared to a
Is it a 1A and 1B though?
Yes, I would say
almost. It's pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
'Cause,
That's
like-
where people are going to lose it for that. But, like, I don't know. It's been such debate between us. Maybe you guys have your, it's definite 1-2, but it's for us. It's been
Because okay,
Should
If
we
we
announce who we're talking about?
Yeah, so between Pierre Gasly and George Russell, I think
We can't figure it out. We can't. I think George Russell has it.
I think so. But no, realistically, we are talking about a Red Bull driver and maybe, a Mercedes driver that did really well this year, which is Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
big shock.
It's a hard debate because I've said if you look at it by the numbers, Lewis Hamilton definitely had a better season. He had most wins, most laps led throughout the entire season. 6-time world champion now. So by numbers, it's for sure looking like Lewis Hamilton. But I think when it came to in terms of racing and who provided a better race at the end, oh my God, wheel-to-wheel racing, more entertainment throughout the season. I think it has to go to Max because there was a lot of times that I think, the biggest, after what happened in the first 6 and 7 races, the biggest come up was Max Verstappen in the next 4 or 5 races. How he did in Austria, how he did in Germany, all the 4 races in between were just absolutely fantastic. And then when we came back from the summer break, we were looking at a little bit of a lull. And then as soon as he brought it back up, the races got way more interesting.
Fair enough. So you have Max Verstappen
I
as
have
your number
Max
one.
as number 1.
Okay.
But like you said, it is a 1A, 1B type of deal.
Okay. And this is where the debate begins because my number 1 is Lewis Hamilton. So I have Lewis Hamilton number 1, Max Verstappen number 2. And a lot of reason has to go for that is that people think of this season, they don't remember the first 6 races of the year and how dominant Lewis Hamilton was. I mean, he took the 2019 season and he just slapped it with his hand. He goes, "This is my season." And he absolutely dominated that, which led him to the World Championship this year. And if you keep going throughout the end, he was the most consistent. He was the most impressive. He was the most dominant in terms of once he's out in the lead, you're not catching Lewis Hamilton. Yeah. There's no way you're catching him. And he did a fantastic job charging through the field throughout the season. And he's a 6-time world champion. He won the championship. I don't think you cannot have Lewis Hamilton as number 2. He has to be number 1, in my opinion.
A lot of that
Tiebreaker.
Now listen, but Max, but if Max had the exact same car as Lewis Hamilton, but and a lot of what Lewis Hamilton has to do with the fact that Mercedes is a better manufacturer than Red Bull at the moment. And I think if Red Bull stepped up their game a little bit more this year, I think we would have seen a better head-to-head between Max and Lewis Hamilton and nobody else.
In the first 6 races, where was Max Verstappen?
Right behind Lewis Hamilton.
No, he wasn't. No, it was Valtteri.
Just like on the list.
I think that, yes, Max Verstappen had a fantastic middle part of the season.
Yep.
And there's no doubting that he did. And in the latter parts as well, he had a tough spell, but came back and had a fantastic season. There's nothing to take away from Max Verstappen. He's been unbelievable this season. But Lewis Hamilton, from start to finish of the season, was the most consistent. He was the most dominant. And in the end, it's the reason why he's up there in terms of the greatest of all time to be in F1.
So this also relates.
Tiebreaker.
So this also relates to the fact that F1 had to put out 2 power rankings for their thing, which was a fan favorite, and which was like an overall based on numbers and all the stats and everything, which put Lewis Hamilton as number 1, and then fan favorite was Max Verstappen. So we figured we'd have this debate to see where it went. I think we still don't know.
Yeah.
Tiebreaker, Chris.
Yeah, I'm on both sides because I agree with both of your arguments, but I think the fan vote or if you want to vote with your heart, it would be Max Verstappen, absolutely, because he really invigorated the 2019 season with his performances in Germany and Austria, obviously, and even his chase of Hamilton in Monaco. So things like that, Verstappen just really kind of gave some good energy into the season that was really much needed. But then again, when you want to vote with your head, you have to go with Lewis Hamilton because you also look at, yes, the first 6 races of the season. The tiebreaker for me actually would be when Red Bull and Ferrari started to come back at Mercedes. Lewis Hamilton still led the championship.
Yep.
Albeit not by 50 points. It was about 8 or 10 points when you look at the summer break standings to the end. But he still led the championship. So he does it in this very quiet manner, which you don't really notice it most of the time. But even it was a surprise to me as well as Charles Leclerc and Verstappen was doing at the time, Hamilton was still the championship leader had it had started in Austria.
Yep.
So I think when you look at it from that standpoint, Lewis would be the number one. But definitely, as a fan of the sport, I would vote Max Verstappen for number one. But I think the tiebreaker has to be our demographic of our audience. So Max Verstappen is definitely number one.
That's fair.
Because like 60-some-odd% of our viewers come from Holland. So congratulations, Max. You are number one on our list.
Well, let us know your. I still have Lewis on mine, but anyways.
Well, I
guess
think when Chris initially gave us this list, me and you were right, like Lewis Hamilton number one. And then I'm like, you know what? I think I
you
could
thought
see,
of it. Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? I could see Max as number one. And then that's how we decided to go about this because it's still a hard debate.
It is a hard debate. Yeah.
Like I could
So
put
who are we
either
settling
one.
on then? 2-2.
Well, he's flip flopping now.
I know. I said
Yeah.
I'm still Max.
You're still Max.
I'm still
so
Max.
it's 2-1 on Max. Okay. Well, Max, I guess it's a 2-1 vote. Democracy rules. I will stand down for now and settle with Lewis Hamilton being 2, but not that I agree with it. And hopefully some of you don't agree with it as well.
I think that was a good debate, though.
It was a good debate.
Yeah.
Covered all the points.
Yeah, let us know if you have 1 and 2, and I guess and the rest of the top 10 as well. But obviously the debate is 1 and 2, so it's debate down below and keep it clean.
Exactly.
Keep it clean down below.
Yeah, just like we did.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. Kept it clean.
All right, guys.
and that
well,
does it. Yeah.
that's it for power rankings, and that was our final piece of content for the BackMarkers F1 show in 2019. So, yeah, next year we'll be bringing back the power rankings. We'll obviously be including also the team power rankings as well.
Yeah.
So, very much looking forward to covering it for all 22 races next year. So, it's going to be a lot of content next year.
Hello,
Yes.
Vietnam.
Hello, Zandvoort.
I know. I can't wait for that race.
Cannot wait.
Cannot wait for the race in Holland.
Well, until 2020, folks, have a good day. Happy New Year, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah. Happy New Year. Yeah, almost forgot.
2020. It's the dawn of a
Dun,
decade.
dun, dun.